That would be me.
Look who we're hanging with.
Ryan O'Halloran.
Jason David Frank.
Humberto Ramos.
Please do not change channel.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe. That way you can keep coming back over and over to hang with us and our wonderfully talented and creative guests in the arts and entertainment world. I am Allyson Murray, and right now we are at the Orange County Convention Center in Orlando, Florida at MegaCon 2018, and we're hanging with inker artist Rob Hunter. Thank you so much for hanging with us.
Hello, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. How's the con going?
It's fun. It's MegaCon. MegaCon is always busy. It's always bigger every year. Yeah. So it's a good show to go to.
Yeah, it really is. This is our second year here. Now this is not in the same building as it was last year. Were you here last year?
Oh, was it North-South Concourse?
Across the way.
Yeah, I was here.
Yeah.
I was there.
And this seems to be bigger. Like bigger, spacious, bigger, don't you think?
I think so. It's always hard to tell because of the giant space for ticketing, and then the giant space for celebrity.
Yeah.
Was the celebrity space bigger last year?
No, I think it was smaller actually.
Oh, okay.
I want to say it's bigger this year.
Oh yeah. So it's at least the same. At least the floor space.
Because I don't feel so. I know, shoulder to shoulder, it was, and you know. I don't feel that way this year. Oh,
okay. Well, were you here Saturday last year?
Oh, we were here all.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, you know. Yeah, you know the craziness of Saturday.
I don't feel well, tomorrow's Saturday, so we'll find out. So tell us about your artwork, DC Comics. So is that, what is DC Comics?
DC Comics is Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Okay, that's pretty much what DC Comics is. Everybody else is, side characters. Okay. But those are their main guys.
So tell us about your inking.
Well, I've been in comic books for like 20-some years. I've been at DC for like 10 years. And inking is trace better. So I work with a penciler. I'm the second artist on the book. And I just try to make their pencils look better. And then from there it goes to a colorist who then tries to make our pencils and inks look better for production.
So it is a process.
Yes, it's a complete process, and it's a monthly process. Every month, brand new issue. It's got to get done. All new deadlines, and it never stops.
Fantastic. So what got you into inking? Did you go to school for art?
I always liked comic books. I went to college for engineering. I realized I didn't like math as much as I thought I did. And I took some art classes at a community college, finished out a degree there, and then I did a year at the Kubert School, which teaches you specifically comic book stuff. So after a year there, it was now work on my stuff until I'm good enough to break into comics, and that's pretty much what I did until I broke in at Marvel.
Oh my goodness! Oh wow! So how do you do your work? And we're obviously. I was going to ask you where you get your inspirations from, but because you're basically being told what to draw, right?
Yeah. There's when you're penciling a project, the writer pretty much lays out the entire page, and you're pretty much just trying to give the writer's version back in pencil form for a comic book, and the process is still, at least for me, and most of the pencilers I work with, it's still, you're at the table, it's still pen and paper, and with inking it's pen, paper, and ink, and you're still working at a table with paper. It's not all computer. Everybody always thinks everything is computerized, and more things get computerized every year, but there's still the stylization that goes into comic books. You still want brushes, you still want pen nibs, you still want the tools that people were using 50 years ago.
Oh, that's great. So what do you find is integral to your work that you have to do to be an artist?
It's practice makes perfect. It's practice makes perfect, and if you want to be a comic book artist, you have to know comics. It's not one of those things where you were a fine artist and you learned how to paint, so drawing Batman should be easy. You have to know your field. You have to love your field, and comic books is storytelling. You have to be able to storytell. You have to get a writer's plot and panel to panel be able to tell the story that the writer's trying to convey in the plot. And they run into problems all the time where commercial artists think they want to give comic book work a try, because comic book work for the most part is more consistent. If you're good, you're going to always be busy. Versus illustration, you might only do 3 projects a year for Pepsi, and they pay a lot, but then you have 8 months of the year where you're staring off, out the window. So a lot of those guys, they don't learn the stylization. They don't learn what is trendy in comics. Comics are very trendy. The art's very trendy. The characters are very trendy. It's a big roller coaster. What's cool last year is not cool this year. So there's a lot of different elements that go into being a successful and working comic book artist.
Yeah. Do you do any of your own drawings?
I honestly, when I'm done with the paid gig, I'm done. I don't even want to look at my table. The first 10 years I would work on my own stuff and I would doodle at my table when I didn't have a project. But now, if I'm not getting paid, I won't even go into that room. That's just, you get to a point where, like my favorite artist is Jim Lee, and he even in an interview, and he's actually going to be at MegaCon this weekend, he's incredibly successful. And years ago he did an interview and he pretty much said, after the first hour, it's a job no matter what you do. And that rings truer every year. So that's just life,
Do you have a favorite piece that you do?
I'm very proud of the work I did with Ed Benes when I was at DC. And I'm very proud of all the Batman stuff because everyone loves Batman. So how can you not, this is when I worked on Batman, this is when I worked on Justice League. Usually the projects that are the most high profile, those are the fun ones to talk to fans about. There's a few projects that are still near and dear to my heart just because of who I got to work with, even though they might not have been the most commercially successful. So it's the spectrum, you try to make every project fun. Sometimes you no matter what you do, you can't. Then it's a job. The electric has to be paid.
Is there an element of art that you enjoy working with most, and why?
With my job as a comic book inker, I do that same element I do it every day. I mean, if it was up to me, I wouldn't work on backgrounds. Someone else could do the backgrounds, and I would just worry about the figures. But you're doing pretty much the same exact thing every day on every page. So it's the same stuff every day. It's the same brushes, it's the same tools. It's all the same.
Do you have any special rituals or quirky little...
Some guys do. Some guys have to practice. Like they will work on a sketch before they start. Any practice I do it's right in the comic. If I feel like I'm a little flat with what I'm adding to the work, I will look at a couple of my favorite comic books and then envision that artist's work as I'm inking. But that's pretty much the only ritual I have, and that's not even that often. Usually it's, I started later than I should. So let's get the work started so I can finish it. So,
I was just going to say, is it almost like an inker's block? Like, you get writer's block when you're an author. You can get inker's block, right?
Yeah, there's an artist block of...
I made that up, people.
It really is. Just get to the table, dude. Stop watching TV or stop playing with the cats. There are times where you look around the house for, I need to vacuum, or I need to do this. Like you're actually looking for other things to do instead of work. But once you sit at the table, what are you going to do? I'm at the table, I need to work. Sometimes you do read comics. Sometimes I read a couple comic books before I get started. But I think a lot of anybody who works at home, doesn't matter what your job is, if you're the boss and you work at home, it's all willpower. 90% of the gig is forcing yourself to start.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So where can people find you and your art?
Oh, well, I'm on Facebook. All you got to do is Rob Hunter and Comics. I have a website. It's robhunterart.com. And then Google. If you type in my name with comic books in Google, my website or my Facebook page comes up like the top 5 listings. So.
What's coming up after you have your MegaCon? Do you frequent a lot of cons?
No, this is my only con of the year.
Oh.
And I live like 2 hours away. So I think this might be the 13th or 14th MegaCon in a row that I've gone to. And MegaCon always treats me right. And the fans are always fun to talk to. And it's always a successful show. So I always do MegaCon. Yeah.
Do we have time for a game? We like to play games on this show. We are going to play Dirty Minds.
Dirty Minds.
Have you ever played Dirty Minds?
No.
Well, we don't have time to play the real Dirty Minds.
Okay.
So what we do is we're gonna pick a square.
Okay.
We're gonna read the clues. There's 3 clues per square, and then we're gonna try to guess what the real word is.
Uh-oh.
Without embarrassing ourselves too much.
Oh, well then that's...
I'll go first to break the ice, because
Okay.
I don't mind embarrassing myself.
Okay.
Okay. If you tried, you can stop me. When you stuff my slot, I perform.
Okay.
When I do it, people watch.
And I'm supposed to guess what the object is?
What the object is.
Slot machine.
Pretty close. A VCR.
A VCR? No one even has VCR.
Those are obsolete.
How dare you? How dare you? That is not right at all. Unbelievable. That is not cool at all.
Did you find one?
Is this where they... right here?
Yes.
Oh, you're not supposed to... Yeah, okay. All right. A finger goes in me. You fiddle with me when you're bored. And the best man always has me first.
I don't know, a key, like a,
What's your guess? Yes, wedding ring.
ring.
Yes,
Oh my
yes.
goodness. Oh. Well, guys, it's been a blast. We've had so much fun. I'm Allyson Murray, but before we go, we would like to thank our partners at Krypton Radio out of LA, Famous Faces and Funnies, Off the Chain Radio with Yvonne Mason, Space Coast Comics, Asylum Convention Entertainment Services with Heather Reed, and our great friends at Summon Unique Magazine. These are the folks that share our videos all over the World Wide Web, and we hope you will too. Don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment, let us know what you think of today's show and our guests. You can also check our guest links below. Remember to subscribe, log on, and stay tuned to see who we're hanging with next. Awesome.
Wow, that was a lot you have to rip through.
Much.